Hi YouTube. So I've been looking online for a while trying to find preview videos of this piece of equipment. It is the APC40 MK2. I finally received mine yesterday. It was on back order for about 2 months, I believe, and the date was pushed off a couple of times. I've seen a lot of videos, pretty much promotional videos done by marketers and salesmen and spokes ads for the company, and I haven't actually been able to find really anything from normal people. So I figured I would go ahead and run through my initial thoughts on this. Uh, First impressions, I really was expecting, after getting pushed, actually had to move this to fit this on here, and the dimensions are bigger. Yeah, after having push, I don't know if you've ever used push, but if you get a chance, it is a very, very nice, solid, sturdy piece of equipment. Also very heavy, but very, very nice as well. Definitely, solid piece of gear. And after seeing that, which was an upgrade from this, I don't know if you can see in the picture, but the original APC40 right here, I was really expecting something more along the lines of push than this. But the more I've messed with it, and the more I've kind of played around with it, I will definitely say it's definitely grown on me. That being said, if you're expecting an upgraded version of an APC40, I would not say that is the case per se. It's better in some areas and not as good in others. One, the faders. This isn't a bad fader, but I will say, and it might just be because this one's worn in, it might be this exact same fader. I'm not 100% sure, but it might just be it's a new fader. But yeah, it's kind of plasticky feeling though. I guess this one sort of is too. Buttons, I know a lot of people had issues with the original APC40 knobs. I never really did, but I know a lot of people that have the tops of these. I don't know if you can see them in the picture, but I have an APC40 over here. This is the original. Size-wise, it is definitely smaller in this direction by a lot. I would say by about 2 inches. As far as the width, it's actually seems to be about a ½ inch bigger, even without the beveled edges. I actually hadn't noticed that until just now. Other than that, as far as the build quality, it's very much lighter. The old APC40 is probably about as well. Push is heavier, but push is pretty sturdy piece of equipment. Yeah, the original was fairly heavy. This might not be that much lighter, but it's definitely not as bulky as the original. Also of note is you do not have to have a power supply on this. Actually, you don't have the option to have a power supply, which with newer computers is an issue. Older ones, USB power used to have a lot of issues, but they've kind of solved those in most computers, so it's not really an issue anymore. On your back, you have a lock point to put one of those equipment locks in. The power buttons right here, it's pretty much like the APC40. I'm sorry, it's sort of like Ableton pushes. It's the same feel to it. They've changed these LEDs to red from green. Like I said, USB powered. You pretty much just plug it in and you're good to go. No drivers, no nothing. I will note that if you do end up getting one of these and you try to turn it on and it'll turn on and it looks pretty much like this, and then when you try to connect Ableton, even with restarting Ableton and trying different configurations, it still you're seeing many messages, but it's not picking up for some reason. I've fiddled around with this for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then finally just decided to try to restart Windows. And lo and behold, it worked. So yeah, there might be some driver tweaks or something that Ableton's doing behind the scenes. Who knows? And I also have Windows 8, so yeah, don't bash me. Whatever. I like Windows 8. Of course, I like Vista too. Anyway, yeah. So say the buttons are essentially the same as the original push. This is pretty much the same. If you will notice, you probably can't see it on the video. They've actually recessed these in, so it's a lot easier. I know the old one. I didn't really use these for. I pretty much just use this as a mixing board. When I DJ, I DJ vinyl or time code or I use Tractor with or some other sort of MIDI controller variation. So I've never really don't tend to do live with Ableton out like you know, for actual shows, but I do definitely mess around with it live and messing around with live production, and yeah, it was kind of hard on the old one to differentiate between the clip stops and the selectors and all, and they definitely have fixed that with these recess of the stop alls, which that in a live situation that would be great. They've also recessed these faders, which is cool as far as portability. There's a lower profile. It doesn't, you know, the other ones, it had a bad habit of catching things and sticking up if you moved it. I think that's another reason why they, it's kind of hard to tell, but the faders seem different. I don't know why exactly, but it might just be this is a new unit. But it's definitely a difference, in my opinion. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. As far as the feel to it, it has some rubbery feet here. I mean, it feels almost like one of those old Atari era joysticks, like the computer joysticks they had at the time with the red bottoms on them, like back in the 70s, early 80s, the late 70s, early 80s. But at the same time, I mean, it's definitely it's not. It doesn't feel like a toy. And it's a heck of a lot better than the Launchpad in my opinion. But I'm not a fan of Novation. They gave me a free 0 MK2. Well, anyway, can't really see it. Won it free in a contest, and yeah, just not really impressed with Novation at all. I have some friends who have Launchpads too. So build quality, I'd say, is above Novation, but probably below, definitely below Push. It's definitely not as, machine's much more finished and steel and rubbery. This is definitely more of a plasticky feel. I'd say it's between, like, it's above Innovation and below an APC40 in some ways, but above it in others. Which I'll go through here in a second. Buttons, very similar to the original APC40s. I will say these are a little more. They're not velocity sensitive, so be aware of that. It's not going to be like Push. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely, the buttons are good. I mean, they feel good. They don't feel like they break. You know, again, I've only had it for a day, so can't really say to that. But one thing of concern I could see is if you are going to be using this out. Yeah, the recesses are cool for a lot of things, and you know, not grabbing things and having a shorter profile and all. But I could very easily see a beer going straight into these and tanking your entire unit. One thing I did also realize is, or notice rather, is I don't know if it's just because the felt that's padding these is so new, but it seems like you can see the circuit boards through here. I can't really see it in this light, but so maybe it's just I'm not used to seeing my APC40 in the light that I opened this up with, but I could very easily see a drink getting spilled onto this and completely frying the unit. And these would just, the old APC40, it's kind of one thing with some slits. This really has some recesses that will, I could very easily see beer pulling in these. Which, none of us ever do anything like that or have any, have that happen, of course. But I mean, let's be honest, you always have somebody spill something on something. So if you're doing shows, especially, which I will say, this is definitely geared. I might have said that already. This is definitely feels like something this is geared towards a traveling DJ who wants to come in, set something down in a small amount of room. It's pretty short, kind of long, but it's pretty short. I mean, you can very easily set up a laptop and just plop this down on something. Don't plop it down on turntables, please. You guys really need to stop doing that. If you know anything about turntables, don't put your controllers on turntables. It absolutely is horrible for them. Warps the platters. Yeah, just public service announcement. Okay, so well, let's go through. Let me open up Ableton here, and I'll show you one of the newest features, which I think is the reason this thing's cost so much. This is a little pricey for what it looks like and for how light it is. I mean, for a little bit more you could get push, but I would say that probably the biggest reason this is cheaper than push is because of the lightness. And I can probably very well guess that the reason push costs so much is these lovely little pads. So this is probably cheaper than push because these are velocity sensitive. This isn't. These can change colors, so can these. And I think that's the majority of what your cost is here. They also have strip and push, which drove up the price, and they have these pressure sensitive knobs, which are a cool feature. Yeah, definitely not on this. Nothing on this is velocity sensitive or pressure sensitive. Yeah, like I said, not. If you look at push and you saw this, like I initially saw this and thought, awesome, they're gonna upgrade everything to this kind of quality. It's not. But at the same time, push is pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy piece of gear. Even by, it's probably, I think it's even heavier than my. That's about as heavy as my Vestax VCI that I had back in whenever I used to use that for upgraded. So let's see, Ableton's up now. So let's go through and drop a music clip on here, and there we go. Okay, so I'm dropping it here. I'm not sure how well that this is going to show up on. I'm filming this with a GoPro. I don't usually do YouTube videos, so I apologize if this is a little long-winded. I just wanted to have something that wasn't a marketer's perspective. So anybody thinking of buying this would not be under the impression this is push or anything near what push is. It's different, is what it is. It's like a lighter, more mobile, modernized version of the APC40. Not as bulky, but as with most things nowadays, you trade off some of the old tank-like nature of equipment for portability and flexibility, which this definitely has. If you look at the LEDs, you can change the colors. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but yeah, it pretty much goes with most of the colors, or all of the colors. The only thing is, I mean, there's not too terribly that much of a difference for some of the colors, to be honest. Like there's a couple that are very close together, shades of pink. But yeah, so that's cool. Like that. You also notice there's, let's see, one of the instructional videos or the promotional videos somebody went through. I'm not sure if this is actually new to the APC40. You may have been able to do this on the other one. I just never realized it. I'm sure you could put it to a hotkey for it anyway. But there's the shift. If you hit shift, obviously there's shift on the other one, but if you hit shift, if you look under here, you probably can't see this, but there's none, 8 bars, 4 bars, 2 bars, 1 bar, 1 4. And pretty much what this is your global quantize. So you can change from 1 bar to 1/4. So if you want to trigger a clip, like, instead of going waiting, if you trigger then is a 1 2 3 4 and then trigger, you could do 1 2 trigger. And it's quantization pretty much. If you don't understand what that is, look up a YouTube video. But yeah, so you can change that on the fly, which is cool. Another new thing, which I was very excited about in this unit that I think they could have implemented a little better, is you can now assign tracks of the crossfader on this actual unit, instead of actually have to click and assign in here, which is very cool. One thing I don't like though is that the assignment is, this is on crossfader A, this is on crossfader B, and this is wide open on both full channels, not crossfaded. This is yellow, orange, and then off. There may be a way to do this that I'm not aware of, but I wish they would have made something where you could just hit shift and then the button, and it would go from B to A. From what I've seen so far, and again, there might be a way to do this, but from what I've seen so far, it's if you're playing on channel A and you switch halfway through, you put some other stuff in, and you want to switch the second channel to channel A, you can't just go to channel A. You have to go off and then A. Doesn't really seem like a big deal, I'm sure, and I mean, it's really not, but I could see people who are very oriented with live stuff and liking things, especially some of the more tricked out people who do live stuff and MIDI map stuff in crazy ways. I could see how that would be something that they might desire. Yeah, other than that, like these sections, again, I don't know if you can see my old one, but pretty much the same here. This whole area is the same. Move the shift button down. It used to be up here. They have a tempo nudge. They moved the bank select down from, it was like up here. And they used to have a bunch of your sends and all up here. And what they've done is they were like this, and they've taken the rows and moved them out and stacked them over here. So now you have per track, rather than before where you had to be like, oh, that's 1 2 3 4, which that's very cool. And you actually have to switch them, pan, sense, and there's a user select mode, which I don't know that they actually had on the last one. The one thing I will say about the sends though is the old unit had send A, send B, and send C. This just has one send, and it pretty much maps to A. There's probably a way to customize that, and I'm sure you could do the user customize that as well. Not that I really personally used those buttons in that way that much, and I'm assuming that's why they got rid of those, and they set it into this format. One thing I would say I wish they had was one thing I never liked about Ableton and the whole DJing in Ableton is the EQs. I don't like their EQ for DJing, not their production, but they don't. Their EQ isn't just a simple, but that's more of the software. But anyway, back to the point. They still don't have EQ abilities per channel, which I would have loved to have seen, or at least 2. Which I guess you can map these, but again, you'd have to translate in your head that these are sideways. So yeah, that probably would have been one thing I would have liked better on it for DJing. But again, I don't really DJ with it, so and honestly most Ableton DJs I've seen don't even seem to mess with their EQ, or they map it to a knob. I guess you could map a auto EQ. I think that's what most of the people do nowadays. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much my take on the units. Oh, you know what it came in. So came with all this. Came in this box, and you'll notice all of these labels at the bottom. It's because they give you like a lot of scents and free scents and stuff. I haven't really had a chance to check them out, but because it just attached to the bottom, just set in that, and then yeah, it came in here. Very very small packaging, very light packaging, but definitely sufficient, and you know, it wasn't I think a problem a lot of packaging has nowadays is kind of overkill, and I'd say this is definitely a good balance. So yeah, you'll get it, and this is pretty much all this in the box. This is in like a plastic bag, and the unit comes in inside of it. This is actually on the unit, and it's like this little felt slash cloth-ish kind of bag. I guess, you know, just as a carrying case. It's not bad. But yeah, again, I would say this is kind of lending itself towards, yeah, this is something that was made to, you know, put in this, throw in a bag, or, you know, just sling your laptop over your shoulder, come into the club, throw down, and start going. Yeah, safety instructions. I think the manual it's in like 3 or 4 languages. Yeah, so that's about your manual right there. The rest is the different languages. So not a whole lot of paper and bulk and packaging waste, which yeah, personally I think is probably a good thing. Yeah, that's yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, sorry if this was a little long-winded. First YouTube video I've really posted that wasn't just me DJing, which I always get flagged and taken down. So you know, I haven't really done much videos, but thinking of going through. I have a lot of equipment, so I also have a makeshift kind of label production DJ collaborative group that I have that we've been doing for a while, but I'm thinking of putting some more content on YouTube, and we're in the process of reworking our site. It's PsyCry.com, PSYCRY.com. If you want to check us out, not a whole lot of content on there right now, but definitely something to watch for as we start ramping up, you know, what we do. You can also check me out at soundcloud.com/PsyCry, and let me know what you think. You know, comment suggestions are welcome, questions are welcome. Flame me all you want. Yeah, like I said, probably rambling a little bit too much, but I'll try and work on that. Yeah, if you like the tutorial, subscribe. If there's things you'd like to see, tutorials, how to do, you know, how to DJ, how to beat match on vinyl, how to beat warp vinyl. I mean, sorry, vinyl. DJ on Ableton, how to beat warp, and you know, whatever. I know how to do it, or know somebody who does probably. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I hope at least some of this was informative, and hopefully if you are considering buying this, you know what you're buying a little better than the promotional videos, as they have a bad tendency of throwing Jeremy Ellis on anything with a drum machine, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, it'll sound like that. No, you won't. Same thing with this. This isn't a beat machine, but yeah, they're definitely. It's not going to revolutionize your workflow, but it'll definitely, if you were a mobile DJ, I could very easily see it definitely making life a little easier possible. So, all right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, and maybe I'll do some more videos, you know, get positive response. Thanks.